Hello there. I found the proof that the Witcher writers have no idea what they are doing. I mean more proof, but this one really made me angry. So apparently one of the writers and the producer of The Witcher posted this. This statement is completely false. But first I need to give this guy a word of advice. When you want to talk about how close your show is to the books and how well you know them, maybe you should write the name of the characters correctly. This tweet is basically a producer giving himself a pat on the back. Look at me go! This scene was in the books and I respect the source material. Then someone responded to him with this. Yes, because Geralt pissing into a potted plant is what the book fans wanted. It's in the novel! Well, actually no, that never happened in the books. There is a similar scene in the books, and it is an excellent one. The problem is that writers didn't understand its value, so they watered it down to Geralt pissing in the flower pot, which completely eradicated the entire point of this scene. I have pages to prove it, good one, I wouldn't brag about it. Dijkstra getting a drop on a Witcher when he was taking a piss is a ridiculous idea. Witchers have super senses, you can't surprise them like that. On the other hand, the writers pissed all over the source material from the start, so I shouldn't be surprised by it. I read the Witcher books a long time ago. I reread my favorite short stories fairly often, but a lot of other books are kind of blurry in my memory. The scene in question, however, I remember very well, because it's an important one of the best, and it really shows Geralt's character very well. I don't have an English version, but some kind source posted those pages to prove how wrong the producer is. And not only is he wrong, but this whole situation really shows how bad at understanding the source material Netflix employees are. Don't worry, I'm not going to read it all, I will just go over it. So Geralt is here being a perfect gentleman, and he doesn't want to wake up Yen. It's quite a change from actually pissing into that pot, but that's not the real problem. This scene is much more than that, and the keyword is scruples. The Witcher had scruples, therefore he got into trouble. Firstly, if he just chose to use the flower pot next to the sleeping Yennefer, he would not get into the trouble. Then, if he would just ignore the vibrating medallion, he would be fine. That's called being in the shit, explained Dijkstra quietly approaching him, and you, Witcher, seem to have an inborn talent for falling into it. What just occurred in this scene is a product of Sapkowski's sarcastic humor, but it is also very consistent with Geralt's character. Geralt always does this. He should be a neutral Witcher, he pretends not to be a hero, but in the end he always does the right thing. He always has to be a good guy, and he always has problems because of it. And that's why we love him. Everyone sees him as an emotionless mutant, a soulless monster-slaying machine. And Geralt always pretends to be one because it is simply easier that way. But he can never commit to this character completely, and that's when the things get hard for him. Because Geralt has scruples. Because he is a good guy. He is a lone knight in a world where chivalry is dead or dying. That is Geralt's character in the books. It's how he is treated by Sapkowski. And that element is completely gone from the Netflix show because the writers cannot comprehend the source material. And the excuses are always the same. We had to make changes because it was for a different audience, blah 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 blah. This is such a bad argument and an invalid one. You don't have to change for the Americans or whatever audience you have in mind because Americans like the games. Changes always have to be made, but people like the games. That completely disproves the argument that your audience cannot comprehend the source material, because the games use the same source material. It happens after the books, but the world is the same, the tone and themes are the same, the humor is the same, and the characters are the same. And guess what? People like this world and its characters. Why on Madonna's senile ass do you need to change something that has already been proven to work? People like the games, therefore they would like a show that is close to the source material.
It was only logical.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
I have to get a drink. Thanks for watching.